Welcome to Niger Superfans Forum. This is where we talk everything African football. My name is Ashalulu Afemi. James Agberebi is also here. Today we'll be looking at issues regarding football on the continent. Of course, today, the semi-final pairings of the ongoing Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, of course, will be taking place. So there's so much to talk about right on the show. So I welcome you wherever you are joining us from around the world. James Agberebi, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. It's always a pleasure being on the Niger Superfan.
All right, okay. So let's get started with the Under-20, the semi-final games will be going down today. And we have in Senegal, they will be taking on Tunisia. Then the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, they will, of course, be taking on the Gambia. James, what are you looking at today on the show, particularly the Flying Eagles? Of course, we saw the quarterfinal game between Gambia and South Sudan ended, I think, 5-0. Do you think the Flying Eagles can get one over this very, very energetic Gambia side?
Yeah, I think one thing that will be going for the Flying Eagles, when they lost to, I call them the favorites, that's Senegal. I think they've been able to bounce back from that early setback. And then they've registered 3 consecutive wins. And they've not considered a goal since that defeat to Senegal. So I think they've kind of warmed themselves into the competition. And Eladan Bose is somebody who has been in this competition before. He's not a novice in this tournament. As far back as I think he was assistant to Gordon Kokowa in 2007 before he now took over the team to the World Cup in Canada 2007 when Nigeria got to the quarterfinals. So for me, though it's going to be a very tough game because the Gambian team, they are no pushovers. They've done well so far. I think they won all their group stage games. And they now capped it with another good victory against South Sudan, 5-0, with forgotten the player's name. He scored a hat-trick. So it's going to be a big game for the Flying Eagles. They're going to have their work cut out because the Gambian team, they've shown that they are one of the favorites. Because for a team to pick the World Cup ticket and also get to the semi-finals, I mean, it goes to show that they are a good side. But, I want to give it to the Flying Eagles based on experience, and the manner in which they've been able to overcome their early setback, So I want to go for the Flying Eagles, but like I said earlier, it's going to be feisty, very tough encounter, and I look forward to the Flying Eagles getting this one over the Gambians.
Okay, but a lot of Nigerians have actually expressed reservation over this current Flying Eagles side because they've said their performances have not been convincing. So we wait to see what they will be able to do against Gambia. At least the good thing is that they picked a World Cup ticket already. James, yes. Let's talk about the 1 week observation for Christian Atsu. It took place over the weekend, and so much emotions were flying around. We saw Montari, Sule Montari. It was almost inconsolable, and Kingston had to, just had to tell him to compose himself because it was really, really deep and touching. But of course, now we have a date for Atsu's burial. It's going to take place on the 17th of this month, James. I think finally, I think his remains will be committed to the Mother Earth, and we'll continue to miss him, James.
Yes, very sad one. We said a lot about Christian Atsu, and fine. We've tried to move on from the disappointment, from the heartbreak. But he is somebody that it will be so difficult to just write him off our memories because of what his legacy. And I'm not surprised that a lot of people broke down during the remembrance. It's like opening old wounds. We can't wait to just get this over with and then just keep remembering him for his good deeds, because the more we keep hearing stuff of his remembrance, the burial coming up, I mean, you continue to cut people. It's as if you are using a kind of a sharp object to strike people's hearts because of because you begin to imagine, begin to want to even question God, that God, why why this person. So it's a sad one. Actually, we never go away from our memories. We will continue to remember him, and just pray that the family, God will continue to be with them. And he left children behind, and we just hope and pray that they will grow up to become greater than their dad. So and that's just like I said, and I always say that you continue to rest in perfect peace.
Okay, talking about the family, of course, the former Ghanaian captain, Asamoah Gyan, said is planning to put together a novelty game in order to raise money for the family. I think that's a commendable one, James. He said, I'm planning to organize a game to raise money for the family. I believe when that day comes, everyone, including the stars, will come on board to support us so that we can raise funds for the family of Christian Atsu. I think it's a commendable one.
Yes, a big one from one of Ghana's greatest player, Asamoah Gyan. This is always common with footballers. Whenever somebody passes on, there's always this novelty game. Where you have people from different. They might even call some former footballers from other countries. I won't be surprised if I see former Super Eagles players, being part of this novelty game. So it's a good gesture. It goes to show how highly rated Atsu was. So Femi, we've said a lot. We can't we can't get enough of this. So I hope a lot of people, friends, well-wishers will turn up for this great man who did a lot for not only for football but also for those who feel they can't meet up. He was able to cover up. He was like a father to many. And despite his old age, his young age, he did a lot. He touched a lot of lives, and what better way to remember him and organizing this this kind gesture. Remember, even in his former club, Newcastle, we read that the fans are trying to complete his. I think there's this project that he's working on, and they are trying to kind of assist him in completing the project. So like I said, Femi Atsu, with all what he did, not only on the pitch of play, but also off the pitch, he is somebody that will never be forgotten.
Okay. James, talking about the President's Cup in Ghana, I remember we talked about it over the weekend. Ashanti Kotoko and of course Out of Hope. And this one, Out of Hope, got it again. They won 1-0, courtesy of Ikonadu Yadams ago. And of course, they went away with $50,000 Ghana shillings, Ghana cedis rather. While of course, Ashanti, they got $20,000. Remember that game also served as a week 20 game in the Bet Power Premier League. I think things are not working out for Azeidu Sabo at the moment, James. I'm talking about at Ashanti Kotoko. Remember, now he's point away from Joanna Stars. And again, in a very crucial game, I thought he was going to use this game to convince the fans, but he lost to their biggest rival in Ghana football, losing to Art again in the President's Cup.
Femi, Out of Hope, you remember how they started the season? They didn't start very well for a big club like that. You remember what happened to some of their officials? How they almost came under attack. So they every game they play now is like a final for them, and getting one over their biggest rivals. I mean, what better way to kind of kickstart your season? It's going to be a big morale booster for Hearts of Oak. Beating your league rival, your biggest rival ever in football. So I think it's going to be, like I said, a booster for them. I don't think Edwana Star will like the result because a draw would have been okay for Edwana, so that because whoever wins, we kind of get close to them. So it now depends on how they react to this victory, because these are two big teams. Fine, they are struggling, but like I say, the form is temporary, class is permanent. So this could be the boost House of Folk kind of get now to launch an assault for the league. So and I'm not even writing off Ashanti Kotoko because they are a big team. They want to believe that they've been in this position before, and I believe that if they can get results from the other teams. I mean, they have what it takes to bounce back. The league is not yet over. To understand what they just need to do is just keep on fighting, keep on hoping that the big teams will continue to maybe stumble on the way, so that at least at the end of the day we'll have a new champion, because everybody loves fairy tale. Remember when Leicester City did it in Premier League? Everybody loved it, So if Edwana starts to do the same thing, I mean, nobody will call to question, because sometimes you get tired when you see only the big teams who are dominating. I think somebody else want to see other teams, apart from the fans of House of Oak and Athletic Kotoko. They don't mind winning it season in, season out. But what better way to? I mean, there's nothing bad if you have other teams, especially the small teams, if they can also get their hands on the Premier League title in Ghana.
Okay, talking about fans, James, police in Ghana have warned them, coach of Art of Oak, Slatko Matic, to stay away from the club for now, because there was an incident last week where fans of the club stopped him from taking charge of training with the players. And why? Last week, in the week 19 of the Belfast Premier League, Art of Oak lost to their city rivals, Accra Great Olympics, and the fans were not happy. And they've advised the coach to stay away from training from now. James, I think Ashetin Kotoko and Art of Oak, they have foreign managers, but they are not even doing well. But let's talk about this now. The police have advised the coach to stay away from the club from now. At least stay away from the club for now.
Well, if it's coming from the police, I think they should heed to that advice, because for the way they are, for them to come out to officially inform him, it goes to show that they must have seen some things, and they've been on the ground. They know their fans. They know what they can do. So if the police, if they are giving you this kind of advice, you just have to heed to it, so that you not have a terrible issue, because there is a foreigner. And if things don't work out, he's going to return back to his country, or maybe another Ghanaian club we want his service. But like they advised him, stay away for now. I think that's the best they can do, because whatever happens, at least they know that they played their own part by advising him to stay away. So I want to believe that he's matured enough to understand what they are trying to pass to him. So he should just do as they advised, and maybe by the time,
but James,
few days from now,
should it ever degenerate into that level that fans will be threatening the life of the coach?
It's sad. It's sad, because it just goes to show that we still have a long way to go in this part of the world. Because it's not that we don't get we don't hear it like this in even developed countries, but I think it's not something that is so often. But yeah, I don't know. These are win at all costs. We are ready to take out anybody if you don't win at home. It's our win at all cost syndrome that is part of us. Yeah. So I mean, it's important for him to do as they asked him, so that will not get anything negative, because the league kicked off in a good way, and we are looking forward to a new champion and Edwana start. But I keep hearing things like fans threatening coaches, players. I mean, fans, you can't control them. They can do the extreme. They don't care. But it's important that the authorities look into all this, so that they will not have a terrible issue in our hands. Remember the stadium stampede that happened in Ghana some years back. I don't know if you recall. I think it was a game between House of Folk and Ashanti Kotoko, if my memory serves me well. So nobody, it went all over the world, and nobody wants to hear something like that again, ever again. Because fans, if you allow them to have their way, they can cause damage. So it's important that the authorities take charge of this, and hope that we will not have something terrible on our hands.
Oh, okay. If you ask me, I think the police should rather provide security for the coach, rather than ask him to stay away from the club for now. James, let's talk about Chris Hutton. Of course, himself and George Burton, the goal things are underway, as Chris Hutton as the new Black Stars coach. Over the weekend, he was at the Emirates to watch Arsenal take on Bournemouth. It was really a close shave for Arsenal, but eventually they got away with the win. So George Boateng and of course Chris Wooten, they were there to watch a party. Of course, he started Arsenal's comeback in that game. But fortunately for Antoine Semenyo, he was on the losing side.
Yes, good one for them. I think it goes to show that one of the key players for the Black Stars was very influential in that game. Just like what you said, he started the comeback, and apart from the goal, he was one of the Arsenal's best players on the pitch. He was breaking play, he was making passes, he was making tackles. He was very involved in the game. Which goes to show that he has overcome his injuries. That made him to miss some of Arsenal's game. That's going to show you that Partey is one of Arsenal's biggest and most influential player. And he's one of the player pushing them in the title race. And what better way to announce your comeback by starting the fight back for Arsenal and doing it in front of your national team coaches. I mean, he's a big morale booster. And for Semenyo, I mean, better luck next time, because this kind of make bomb out, go deep. I think they are 19th in the log now. I mean, it goes to show that the fight for survival is very much on now for them. And then let's also hope that we'll be able to help them to avoid relegation. And then for Partey, all eyes on the Premier League title. The last time I won it was in 2004. I don't think Partey has started professional football back then. I mean, how will you feel if you now become one of the players to help Arsenal to win the league after almost 20 years, if I'm not mistaken? So they are in a good part, and he's one of the players who is driving Arsenal towards first league title since 2004. And it's going to. I just hope that against Angola in the qualifiers, he'll be able to bring his A game for the Black Stars, because fine, we always hail him for his performance for Arsenal, but most Ghanaian fans will tell you that they are not always satisfied with his performance anytime he turns up for the Black Stars. And let's just hope that he'll be able to give his all. But at the last World Cup, I don't think Partey gave 100%. He was not really the Partey that we used to adore. But let's just hope that we're able to help Ghana when it comes to the AFCON qualifier, the two-legged affairs against Angola.
Okay, all right. So talking about Thomas Partey, he dedicated his goal to Christian Atsu. And of course, still talking about the Black Stars players, Tariq Lamptey will be missing the game against Angola, the double-header against Angola for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. It lasted only 16 minutes in Brighton's 4-0 win over West Ham United over the weekend. Now, James, let's talk about Achraf Hakimi. Remember, last week we talked about being in the eye of the storm for an alleged rape. He has been officially charged now for alleged rape in France. And over the weekend, in PSG's 4-2 win over Nantes, he was in the stand, because of the situation surrounding him. And I don't know what it would take, but I think it might be a little difficult for Hakimi to get out of this.
Well, it all depends on the kind of evidence that's available. If his lawyers can prove beyond reasonable doubt that he is innocent, as it is now, is innocent until proven guilty. Whatever we are hearing now is all allegations. So the most important thing now is for him to start praying hard, because we've seen footballers whose career ended because of issues like this. I remember the former Manchester City winger Adams. He was something like this. I think he had an issue with a minor, and since then his career nosedived, and he never resurrected again. Manchester City's French left back Benjamin Mendy, he's still out now. Let me just say, he's not going to play this season again. And he's fighting hard to come back from the case that is currently handling. He has been discharged and acquitted in some of the charges, but I think there are still some that still have to be cleared. But let's wait and see what happens. For Hakimi, I mean, this is not a good one at all, because for the police for him to be officially charged, it goes to show that now the case is on now. So I hope that his lawyers will be able to defend him properly, because, like I said, a lot of footballers have gone down and never came back again because of issues like this. So I remember Neymar almost had an issue like this. Cristiano Ronaldo too was accused of rape. So sometimes I begin to imagine, why is it that they're always accused of rape all the time? Is it that they always put themselves in a vulnerable position to be, to become victims? So I mean, these guys, they just have to be very careful. You have to be mindful of the kind of company they keep, because sometimes this thing can be set up. You never can tell. So let's just hope that we'll be able to overcome this. Currently, Manchester United youngster Mason Greenwood, he was the charges were dropped against him, but it's not as if all is well and good for him now. He still has a lot of battles to solve, because they are not. I don't think he's going to walk back into that Manchester United team. So I mean, this kind of effects, that all these things at the end of the day, whether you came out innocent, but sometimes the backlash, the insult, the trolls that you get after all this, you kind of, if you're not the other kind of person who has that strong mind, it's going to affect you. So let's just hope that Akemi will be able to overcome this and return to the field of play.
Okay, because according to Le Parisien, the victim walked into a police station and made the complaint. So I think to them, maybe perhaps they have the evidence they need. Okay, James, let's go to our player of the week now. Over the weekend, we saw Thomas Partey. Of course, he scored that goal, the one that started Arsenal's comeback in the win over Bournemouth. And we have Mohamed Kudus. He scored Ajax's only goal in the 1-0 win over NEC. So I think our player of the week should be between these two. But before then, James, I think the good news is Eric Choupo-Moting is being rewarded with a new contract at Bayern Munich. He's been rewarded with a 10 million euro per year deal. I think it's a commendable one, because someone who played second fiddle to Robert Lewandowski for a long time now is proving his worth.
Yes, a good one for him. I mean, the Choupo-Moting's rise to in football is something that needs to be studied. I remember he played for Stoke City, if I'm not mistaken. From there, he now went to he now ended up playing for some of the biggest teams in Europe. He played for PSG. He now went to Bayern Munich. So and he's been rewarded with a new contract. It goes to show that he has been key, a very vital player for Bayern Munich and in their push for the Bundesliga. And what better way to reward a player's efforts? So I think it would be a good boost for him to keep doing what he's doing, because it looks like the replacement for Lewandowski, and he has not disappointed. So all the best to him, and let's hope that he'll be able to help Bayern to get the Bundesliga title, and who knows, go on to win the Champions League. They have he will help them to defeat his former club PSG in the round of 16 first leg, and they will be meeting again, and maybe he will be the one to take his former club out. So all the best to him in his new contract, and hope that he's not going to disappoint.
Okay, James, very quickly, in let's say 30 seconds. But why do you think Choupo-Moting doesn't replicate this kind of form for Cameroon?
Maybe sometimes the style of play. When you are used to a particular style of play in your club side, when you now come back, it's like you are starting all over again. You meet, in the club side, these are people you see every day, people you train with every day. But in the national team, just during qualifiers or major tournament, that's when everybody comes together. So it only takes players who are extremely very good, very talented, that you see them do it for both club and country. But not every player who carry their club form to the national team, So that's just the truth about it.
Okay, so now let's go to our player of the week. Like I said earlier, we had the Mohamed Kudus. He scored Ajax's only goal, the winning goal against NEC in the Dutch Eredivisie. And of course, we saw Thomas Partey starting Arsenal's comeback in that beautiful 3-2 win over Bournemouth. James, who will be your player of the week between these two?
Yeah, for me, I think I'll go with Partey. I think for someone who was injured before, missed some crucial games, and was able to bounce back and mark his return, just to show that he's fully back now. and I helped them to start the comeback against Bournemouth, who took a surprise 2-0 lead. And for Partey, who is known for his defensive duties, as a defensive midfielder, to now find himself in that position. The way he struck that ball, you think he's a striker. He's only strikers who have that. There are some players who even miss from that range, but he was able to score that goal as like a striker, and the way he was breaking play, the way he was intercepting, he was making good tackles and spraying passes here and there. I mean, so for me, Kudus too did well. He made the Eredivisie Player of the Month. He was in the Team of the Month, So and he was able to score again, So good one for him. But I think for me, Partey, based on the circumstances, someone who has missed some games and was able to bounce back and continue for where he stopped. So for me, I think Partey, we nick it from me.
Okay, lastly now, James, what happened to Nigerian players over the weekend? Victor Osimhen, for the first time in almost 8 games, failed to score. And also, Ademola Lookman hasn't even scored for some weeks now. And Paulo Onuachu, since he's moved to Southampton, he hasn't scored. What's going on?
Well, that was football for you. Osimhen not scoring was like big news because we've become so used to him scoring week in, week out. But that's football. There are sometimes that the game will not go the way you want. He came close to scoring in the last game against Lazio. Unfortunately, the bar denied him and some good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So I believe that they will serve as a boost for him. He's a very good striker. He's somebody that will not go like go drought where you will not score in games. So I believe he's going to bounce back. For Onuachu, I think he's just trying to get his feet in the Premier League. The Premier League is not the Belgian league. The Premier League is one of the most difficult league to play in. So just like what Cody Gakpo, the Liverpool player, I remember how he struggled in the early stages of his Liverpool career. He also how he helped Liverpool to annihilate, to destroy Manchester United by scoring 2 goals.
Why do you have to bring that up, James? Why do you have to bring that up?
No, I'm just trying to
so there is no relation. Cody Gakpo is a Dutch player. Why are you not bringing it up?
So sometimes this thing happens. So I believe
you want United fans to come after you.
So I believe our players they'll find their feet and start doing what we know them. So let's just look forward to this weekend games and hopefully they will bounce back.
Okay. Hopefully this week we will have a Chris Hutton release the list of players that will be invited for the double header against Angola. Same here in Nigeria. We are hoping that Jose Peseiro will also release his own. And also in Cameroon, Rigobert Song. A lot of people are still asking why Rigobert Song is still the coach of the Indomitable Lions at the Cisse in Senegal. So we are hoping that this week all of them will release their list of invited players for the game. James Agberebe, thank you for coming through on the show today.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. It's always a pleasure.
All right, okay. This is the best place to leave it today on Nigeria Sport Fans Forum. Please share our videos. Click on that notification button to get our video as soon as they are posted. Like we always say, in your locality, in your country, if there is any issue regarding football that you want us to talk about, of course, we will bring it to the court of public opinion. And of course, we are getting our fingers crossed over incident in DR Congo where female footballers assaulted a referee. Yeah, I'm sure you must have heard about that. So we are getting our fingers crossed because according to Congo FA, that matter is still under investigation. We just hope that it won't take forever. All right. Until we come your way again, I remain Ashalolu Afemi. We'll see you all. Bye for now.